Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything and amazing Propagandacast from the air host Imperial Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero like defender of the fatherland, off here to a glorious, wondrous, near-magical 1v1 here on Faymonville Approach. In the north it is Basset, fighting for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin, and the 213th Rifle Division, with airborne troops here featuring airdrop weapons, pair-dropped heavy machine guns, airborne rally points, guards airborne, and the tactical artillery to make rocket run. In the south it is what to eat. They'll just be calling him Eats because what to eat is going to be really repetitive, say too much. So Eats here with Luftwaffe supply doctrine, with airdrop medical supplies, Luftwaffe field officer, supply drop, incendiary bombing run, and heavy bombing run. Fighting here for the German army, Deutschland, forming up with the... let's just go with 11th Panzer Division here. We got Luftwaffe supplies, as mentioned there. So off to the races here. Airborne versus, in a sense, airborne, but not quite airborne either. But sort of air-focused. Triple contra there for Basset. Grenadier MG42 there for Eats. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my page supporters, big champions, all of them. Certainly helps me out a bunch there. And also big thanks to Andrew for joining in the heroic ranks. Other people can follow his examples so many others by pledging on Patreon themselves, or they can donate via PayPal. Links in the description. Finding, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing also helps me out there bit there. So off to the races out. We are going to be sitting out there. Up north here, though, we can see there Eats is focusing primarily there with sandbags, barbed wire. They'll sneak up in the centre as well there. Meanwhile, Bassett's focus is initially here on the south with his Soviet infantry. Second Grenadier Squad there almost done for Eats. There we go. We'll have to see how much he makes use of the commander. There's definitely some utility with the airdrop medical supplies. And the Luftwaffe field officer, I think, is a pretty good yet overlooked unit in the Wehrmacht arsenal. Plus, the supply drop is also pretty solid. Fourth conscript here for Basset, obviously going to be leveraging these airdrop weapons fairly hard. We'll have to go for any guards airborne troops. Maybe will, maybe won't. Season the southern point here, very good. Going to be slowly advancing in the centre here for Eats and the German army. Third Grenadier Squad on the way then. We got fourth conscript there for Basset. North that point being seized. But yeah, not like any intense engagement here so far. Both are sort of looking to grab as much terrain as they can without really engaging. But at the same time, Basset's looking to line up here for a big flank here against Eats. Definitely not bad. Then the machine is set up to cover against there. But the south flank is definitely a weak spot. Basset has realised this. Now swarming the two counterports here. And of course, worth noting here, Eats forces are not quite positioned in to deal with this. Now we've got the troop tank from the front here. He doesn't know where the machine gun is, but he's going to catch the machine gun nonetheless off guard here because again of the broad attack it takes there. Thumbs up to Basset. Grenadier Squad there pushed back. We've got two squads to go, but again, they're a bit all over the place here. We've got the other one actually all the way back at the base here. As I imagine he's hesitant to commit the Grenadier Squad there to the fight without just, getting it shot to bits right away as well there. So we'd see there a bit of hesitation there by Eats as he is trying to figure out what Bassett's overall line of attack is here so he can respond to it better. Up north, Conscript caught with the MB42 suppressed immediately. He can start dropping in some airdrop medical supplies already now to provide healing for his men. Plus, they also get buffed by it, so if he uses it a bit more aggressively, there's definitely some advantage there as well for Eats. Up north, Parnese here pushed back by the engineers there, unable to breach the front door and kick out the engineers. In the centre of the fighting there is, I think, slowly turning the advantage here of Eats. I mean, this is not a great building for infantry fighting with only one window at a time, so like 4 Grenadiers fighting here is like completely lopsided engagement. It may take some time, but even then it's an engagement that strongly favours the Wehrmacht player. And we got two constantly joining in, so still overall favourite though, particularly because the constantly at greater range. The only thing he's really doing is just buying time versus the German player, and so far the German player seems to be more or less acquiescing him. Like to make a nice company up there for the German player. Eats thumbs up there. Grenadiers getting a bit caught out in the open here. Southwards, but Grenadiers going up there before headed northwards to defend the point here. Could have spotted around the centre here, but decides not to. Arguably, could be a bit of a mistake there, or at least less optimal perhaps in some ways, but I can understand him. I can understand wanting to defend the field point, but I feel like you should prioritising actually winning engagements. Oh, they'd like to make a nice company up here. That's it, short manpower and fuel. Can't rush out for an armoured car immediately. He could again drop in some medical supplies soon here. He could also be planning light machine guns. Officer could be a pretty good handy addition as well here for Eats and the German army. The 5-man squad with 4 MP40 can actually do quite a bit of that there in terms of utility, but also just sheer firepower. There we go. We do see the engineers go around the northern fuel point. And again, shut the machine down here sooner. Basset here still a bit to go from calling those weapon drops. bunker up there again. You could like just gone for the medical supplies there, saved up the manpower for something else like a panzer grenade escort mortar on the machine gun. It's kind of one of the reasons I imagine you go for this, is just like get those fast airdrop medical supplies. But so far, no sign of that here from the Wehrmacht player. You can soon go for the officer. In fact, maybe could have just dropped the medical supplies, had an officer up by now, at which point he would have a, you know, slight advantage, I think, infantry-wise over his opponent. But so far, Eats here playing it not quite like that, which I understand out a bit there. Grenades by the southern field point here. Got it captured. 2 conscripts bringing the support there. Troops heading out here for each space. We do get the 2-2 there. The leichte Punches-Bewagen. 222. Bassetmen surging forwards here against each grenadiers who are definitely overwhelmed then. It's rapidly dispatched. Armoured car that's right about done here for each. We got a building there being occupied. Contra that in front of it. No Molotovs here and no way of flashing out. We do have a flamethrower team, but as you might notice, that's far away from everything else. A machine being dropped in there. That is his first airdrop. Not say SVT-40, but a heavy machine gun. You could also consider adding some Guards Airborne. There we go. Weapon drop. But still an additional Guards Airborne squad could certainly also give Basset like a 5-man numerical advantage there in squad, over each, which will be a problem here for the Wehrmacht player very rapidly, depending on the situation. Of course, the armoured car is also a threat that needs to be dealt with, so that might actually be the thing that holds off here the Guards Airborne for now. And forward to catch the conscript, still a nice fight there by Basset. Good overall maneuvering skill here versus the German player. We do get grenades on the way here, but until they are ready, each armoured car there is definitely going to be eating up Basset's forces. Might want to use that machine gun a bit more actively. Also, about to be careful about, you know, it's the Wehrmacht, particularly in the early game, positioning a machine gun in one place for too long. That can quickly become a trap that just ends up with the machine gun doing nothing, but also risk being cleared out there. Could go for the officer now. He may also be planning a pack 40, but I would recommend an officer here to just, you know, boost his men, provide some close quarters combat support, and just general utility. Like, the officer's like one of those very overlooked Wehrmacht units I find. But in the hands of a good player, the Luftwaffe field officer and the artillery support officer can do a lot of work. That said, Panzer Grenade Squad though is also a nice addition, so anyone can complain over seeing that one. But again, could have gone the officer as well here. That's just a minor point at this point. Moving north to see with the Grenadiers. Double heavy machines out there for Basset. That's definitely going to be a challenge here for Eats. You did get the news. That actually slows down Basset's tech actually a bit. He needs to replace the units before he can actually build anything, so that actually slightly works out in the favour of Eats. Not by a lot, but you know, it's actually slightly significant. Machine gun back in the centre. Grenadiers filling up with the light machine guns. He's sending him northwards, but he is committing most of his forces so far to defend the south here. I can see the logic in that. And certainly with the 2 heavy machine guns, getting in some mortars first before going to a larger northern push. Or the artillery field officer, in part because he wants smoke to make it harder for the machine guns to get, you know, a clear line of fire there on his men. Southwards, we've got 2 conscripts coming up, then one with the SVT-40s, one without. Heavy machines have to cover here against the push in the carve point. That's going to stop the Panther Grenadiers right in their tracks. Or not. In the south here, concentrating to the Grenadiers there. All weapon drops here. And there we go, catching the heavy machine gun, pushing it back there. Good push there by each in the German army. And we do get a mortar here, a Grenadenwerfer. Thumbs up. Though he will need a pack 40. That said, of course, he might be planning using the supply drop for another machine gun, but also the pack 40. Additionally, resources that would also then be provided. There's a lot of reason to go for it, and that's only one of the reasons, again, you may want to pick this command, is the supply drop ability is quite efficient. Panzer, they're being pushed back by the conscripts. Disc coming in as well there. But so far, I mean, we are almost 10 minutes of the game then. He's yet to use the command at all. Makes you wonder what he's planning so far. I mean, again, he might just be going for the supply drop, but honestly, like, the medical supplies and the officers are, like, pretty good too. Mortar fire raining off here from the Grenadenwerfer towards the machine gun position there. Good hit on the other machine gun team there. Panzer Grenadier in the move here in the southwest. We got 2 grenadiers with the conscript there. We got Molotov being deployed as well there. Still, yeah, the Molotov thing's going to swing the engagement in favour of Basset's conscripts, his Throntovics, as they victoriously push back the fascists. Northern machine holding up there. Back here, bit of reinforcement here and there for Basset. Armoured car there swinging westwards, looking out for any further survivors there. Pioneers saying northwards. No mines, no officer. Can go for the supply drop in a few seconds. And again, we'll have to see with that. But it seems like it is like... Otherwise, I'm not entirely sure what each of them is planning at if he's like not going to go for the supply drop. But yeah, so far, no sign of that either. In fact, he's going for the pack 40? Ha. Yeah, that one definitely seems a bit odd to me. Like, you know, could have just gone for the supply drop, got a machine gun on top of that, plus fuel and munitions. Just seems kind of like a no-brainer to me, but maybe there's some other logic here dictating things for each. At least he's getting his grenadiers upgraded. We got the disco there firing arm-piercing rounds. We've got the mortar they're trying to snuff it out. That means those going to soon have both fuel points under control. That's going to be a different problem there for Basset. In particular, that last running period of time, we can see that Basset is already starting to sending forces south at sea to hit the southern fuel point. And we can see there, I think his opponent's already anticipating that, sending forces southwards to counter such a potential move. Up north, the disco machine is almost snuffed out here by the Grenadier there for a really close call there in the south there. Fighting for the fuel point proceeds as the Grenadiers attack forwards. Panzer Grenadiers could also move to assist. They could also try and flank northwards. We've got a mortar out here for Basset, responding to his opponent's mortar with a mortar of his own. Armoured car to the conscript, threatening here the curve point. Not bad at all. Plus some of the support weapon. But there we go. Machines ready to cover up against that at least. Oh dear. Now he doesn't have missions for a bungling in the retreat path. But could have been something. They could also start taking up here now versus Basset. Contra the routed. We got Contra the pushback over there before 2, gaining veterans 1. No sign of tech yet here for... Oh, there we go. You do get the tech there for Eats and the German army. So yeah, quite a bit of action going on here and there between Eats and Bassets. Truck reinforcing healing, heavy machine then being hauled eastwards. Engineers grabbing the northern fuel point there for the Red Army, vigilantly so. You can see there Eats ready dispatching between here to try and get that fuel point out of Basset's hands once more. Basset continues to not show particularly great interest in the Guards Airborne troops, find that to be slightly disappointing, as they are quite good in the right hands, in particular the submachine guns personally, but honestly the triple DP light machine guns is also just kinda nuts. Fixing up the armoured car. Tech almost done there for Eat. Full set of conscripts there. 2 with SVT-40s, 2 without, perhaps short munitions, perhaps planning something else. Worth noting, while he has gone for the support company, we haven't seen anything further than that. We haven't even seen a field gun here from Basset, so there's arguably a few possible slip-ups then, like if he gets hit by a fast Ostman right now, Basset could be in some deep Sikablyat. Mortar firing down, they got constantly charging the Grenadiers with SVT-40s, hailing death into the Grenadiers here. And there you go, almost wiping out the entire Grenadier squad here. Contra they're suppressed, but we've seen their full street position. Mortar there with counter battery fire there. It's attempting to snuff out here Basset's mortar. Bit ready to see counter battery fire there on the mortar. An interesting tactical decision there, but it seems to be so far having quite an impact there on Basset's mortar, which is almost wiped out. And he's actually going for another mortar. At the same time, though, Eats mortar is about to get wiped out with the flamethrower machine gun fire there. Didn't get the third mortar either. But still, double mortars here from Basset is a very interesting choice. Not something you typically see out the Soviet player. Not even with the heavy mortars, which you'd figure is then one they'd be more likely to go for double off. Particularly for the 82mm mortar, it is quite rare. Still, quite a few mortars in this match. The thumbs up, so Pomocrop there. Can then go for a Panzer IV and Ostwind here soon. Could also go for the Stug. And we finally got Basset probably taking up there. Tank could be tank commander. Going to be followed up with a mechanized armor company, I imagine. Disc getting surrounded. Mold here. Ralph grenade fire, armored car fire, machine team up there as well there. Could also see the mortar joining in there. causing a lot of problems. There we go, almost wiping out Bassett's Dishka machine gun team there. Really close call, but it narrowly survives, at least for now. Gonna use the opening up the controls there. Centre is a bit of a slaughter field here between the two sides up north. Lone Panther Squad, they're right about the Dishka there, which is back in position. Basset wants that fuel point. More weapons drop. Tank out there, finished to a Basset. Meanwhile, Eats is getting ever closer to the Panzers. Still surprised at the lack of supply drop, though. And certainly interesting. I mean, he's so far, you know, not used the commander at all, despite going for it fairly early on. Makes you wonder what exactly he's planning with his commander. We'll have to see in there. Got his flying a bit back here. Constable forwards in the centre here. We got MD4 drilling up. Pioneer sees in the southern munitions point. Constable Chatham they're going to use here. Soviet infantry assailing the Gundis. They're pushing them off from the south here. We got Constables and Gundis threatening the northern fuel point. But there you go. There's still the Dishka there. Even with the building collapse. There we go. In mines here. Causing significant casualties here for Eats. He really should lay down some smoke or send in some scouts ahead of time there. In the south, arm covers the contour of the southern fuel point there. He can go for the Panther 4 soon. He could also go for the Stu now, or for the Osprey in a few seconds. Meanwhile, mechanized summer company for Basset and the Red Army. Another weapon drop there. It's going to have all 4 controls then equipped with HP-40s. That will be a significant amount of firepower to bring to bear here versus Eats. Well, the Actor hasn't been making great use of these pens, to be honest. Like, they got no kills in there. It's definitely a bit concerning there, unless of course you are the serve play, in which case it's great. Seizing the southern fuel point to fix up the armoured car. Multitasking. Or just efficiency. But there you go, he's closing on that. Panzer IV has the fuel, he almost has the manpower. Is he planning on using it in the incendiary bombing runs? I mean, again, we're sort of slowly approaching the 20-minute mark, and again, no usage of the commander in the slightest. Meanwhile there, Bash at 70-minute mark commits to the first T-34 from 6, and he has the fuel for another one. He just starts churning out those T-34 from 6s versus Eats. That could actually become a problem there for the German player. As the T-34 from 6 is an incredibly efficient medium tank for its cost. I mean, sure, it doesn't have great penetration or armour, but it more than compensates by just being incredibly efficient with its firepower and speed for its cost. Whoops, sorry about that. Mouse for some reason slipped up a bit there. Contra push back with infantry around the centre. Northern fuel seized again, and there you go. Note the way Basset is repositioning the machine gun to protect himself against counterfire. There you go. Finally using the commander here. 18 into the game there. 5 pops the incendiary bombing run, enveloping the Dishka machine crew there in a sea of fire. Against the mortar team there. Ruthless pursuit here by Eats and the German army here, threatening and pushing back both mortars. We got, by the way, Eats mortar back in counter barrage mode. And there you go, Panther 4 out here for the German army, the Panzerkampfwagen 4. Meanwhile, Basset's T-34 from 6 is rolling ahead. They need to retreat the mortar Schnell. Pack 4 into support here. Good hit there, punches through the T-34 from 6 armour cleanly. Second shot there goes through as well there. Panther 4 charging ahead there. Mortar though in trouble. Need to get that under 4. It's snuffed out by the Soviets. Or the Panther 4 by accident. Concentrating Salfords there. Comes to them being mauled and almost slaughtered. Machine holding back. South point's being grabbed here. Panzer left for the southern victory point. Back in each space. We'll have to see what happens next. Gaining control of the centre here from the Soviets once more. He's actually gaining control of the north in large part due to that incendiary bombing run. Dishka there popping armor piercing around before realising it needs to pop back, as it could risk getting slaughtered there by the Panzer 4. There's a lot of back and forth action here. Double mortars there, back in action for Basset and the Red Army. They're caught with the Panther 4 first shot, though completely whiffed still. Basset's taking no chance, of course, completely retreat to the counter there, rather than, you know, take any unnecessary losses there, which honestly makes a ton of sense. The counter there is not retreat as fast there, but once 1/3 of the unit is obliterated here with Yevgeny and Ivan there getting blasted, the rest pull back. T-34 to the flanking there, go wipes poor Otto from the face of this earth, with Friedrich quickly following in there as well. Counter barrage fire still going for mortar with the disco. They're threatening here the support position here from Basset, and an H-85 tank there for Basset. I was kind of expecting more T-34s from 6s, but obviously an H-85 will handle. Can also be a significant threat there to Eats armor. Pack 40 shoots, misses the T-34s from 6. Far up north, this side infantry advancing, backed up there with the Dishka. As a quite formidable tactical force here from Basset that's, you know, going to require more than a single grenadier escort with a light machine gun to hold back. Mortar battle here continues, very close to the ace level, not really snuffing out the serve mortars at this point though. Having acted some bit of awkward lot they're hitting. Machine gun there catching the counter, pin them down to the ground. H-5 almost done there for Basset. Disney at the mortar. 7 kills in the ace level. Grenadiers valiantly charging ahead here. Mortar fire taking a hit from the mortars. It's just like a complete mortar slug out here. Almost got the mortars with this mortar which gains ace level there. Counter push back here. He's got all abilities unlocked now. But again, so far he's only used the Incendiary bombing run. Like he's actually intended to use the heavy bombing run. That'd be something else. I'm not entirely sure I was going to use it, but that would be something else. North here, Panzer moving forward, caught with aim for disc, I mean. Could rush in the armor car to flank it, push back. We have to get 27 kills. We have to get a wipe this one on Basset. That's great here for Eats and the German army. You can go for another Panther 4 now. Honestly, wouldn't be bad there. The rest of they should fire not such. You may want to go Stug instead. We get another pack 40 here for Eats. Versus opponent with double mortars. That might be slightly problematic, but there you go. Punch squad, they're creeping up, using the train to get around the machine guns line of sight. And there you go. Popping a Geballte Ladung right into the flank here. Could see a wipe, and there you go. Blast eviscerates all, falling only the 5th guy to just get cut down by the Panzer grenades in cold blood. In the center, moving forward with armor and infantry support here. Basset looks to secure the terrain here from the Germans, and Eats just has nothing really in position to deal with this. No machine guns, the mortar's been caught out of position as well there, and his tank is also back being repaired. There's just nothing's really withstand such a Soviet push here from Basset. Now again, he did grab the heavy machine gun team there, so obviously not all bad there for Eats and the German army. But what is he planning over that commander? T-34 from 6, they're almost done for Basset. Because they're being hammered by the German mortar, we got still 9 kills on it, so mortar's all creeping force there. I think he's trying to silence the German mortar. Yup. Basset wants that Granadenwerfer out of the picture. Punches there, neat reinforcement. South we got the MG4 to the contours there. This coming forwards. And another incendiary bombing run here so far from him. This time the support weapons here, unleashing fire from above. Catching the disc, catching the mortar here, unleashing a fiery hell upon them. Definitely like a pretty rare use of the command. It's all like a pretty rare commander, but then to use it actually for the incendiary bombing run is like... I don't actually think I've seen that used at all. The only way this is get rare, actually also then use the heavy bombing run. Like, I've only seen that ability used once, and that was me that used it. Tried to use it on ISU 152. It didn't actually do a lot of damage. I don't know how good it actually is. But anyways, defibration to base, engaging the MG42 head on there, pushing it back. Very good. Going to go for the H-85. Up north here, Pioneers push back by the T-34 from 6. Bassett's tank running loose across the map here. Got the packs on the move here, though again with the mortars and all such about, need to be careful. Not much use of the commander otherwise, still no guards airborne, so say for example to play some of the losses Basset has suffered, and there you go, Panzer racing force, but they need to get back and out of there. And what is he planning? We're not seeing additional armor here from Eats. He definitely needs, I think, more armor. Against Stooks would be a good addition. Pair of them in particular, I think we'll do some heavy lifting here versus Basset and the Red Army. Got being caught in the center by the MU-42. Actually, not the MU-42, the Disc-Hay machine gun. 9 kills here on the Grenadier Afrikaans being hammered here, pulverized. And we get a rocket strike here from the Altush Dumovic. Machine gun there, blazing hot fire to the advancing Soviet troops. I'm kind of getting the T-34-6. Katyusha rocket launcher there for Basset. He's going like pretty hard in on the artillery. 2 mortars and the Katyusha. Like, I feel like a Katyusha might be a bit redundant when you got 2 mortars out. You could just go for more T-34-6s. But that's just me. Meanwhile, it still hasn't gone for like any additional armor. That seems also a bit questionable. North 8 T-34 going here for the Pioneers. Dishka firing away there. Panzergrenadier is moving forwards. Quick snap down the Panzergrenadier. Using from the Grenadier for 11 kills. I mean, it's definitely doing some good work there for each. And there you go, Katyusha rocket launcher. Almost swapped the heavy machine team there. BM-13 Katyusha rocket truck out. And again, that means Basset has a lot of artillery. But it doesn't have a lot of armor. I also feel like there's an opponent now with 2 mortars and of course what soon to be is Katyusha. I feel like relying on double packs is a bit of a reliability there. There we go. T-56 engaging Grenadiers there. Floating a lot of munitions. Is he actually going for the heavy bombing run? Anyways, Pack 40 getting the T-34-6 here. Engineers are being absolutely mauled here, though. Each stage is slaughtering them. In cold blood. But still flooding a lot of fuel here. Engineers rolling up here. One engineer there for Basset has lost another infantry squad. He's not replacing his infantry losses at all, is he? Comes there out in the centre. Charging ahead with the Grenadiers. Oh my. He might actually be doing this. Holy shit, that was a great mortar hit. 2 mortars sitting up there, and are we actually going to be seeing this? Yup. Ladies and gentlemen, we may just be looking here at a heavy bombing strike. I'm guessing this is going to be the angle. Yup. Oh my. That's the Propagandacast first. That was both mortars gone, heavily damaged the armor as well there. Okay. I mean, that certainly deals with the mortars. They need to grab the rest of the map and bring in some armor. That said, Basset is far from done. He still has the 2 T-34-6. He has the other stuff there as well, though he's short in infantry, so it's not like Basset out again. The T-34-6 is still sources of a lot of firepower and definitely should not be underestimated. Like, in the hands of a strong player, T-34-6s are really powerful. Sandbags up here. Eats really needs out more armor. I'm surprised to like a strong degree he's actually like just still relying on a single Panther with an opponent with so much armor. Still, silencing the 2 mortars like that obviously gives his Pack 40s a bit more lease on life. But there you go, good Katyusha barracks, almost swapping out the Grenadiers. But the Panther pushing forward here for Deutschland. Ground Northern Victory Point and Fuel Point. That was a... Whew. That was really impressive. But that's it. The trick is setting up. Like, it's a really expensive ability with quite a bit of wind up. So that, like, actually, like, finding a spot which is good is, like, pretty tricky. But as you can see there, when you do land it, it's good. Getting the T-34 by the Pack 40 gram northern points. I mean, right now, Eats has managed to clear most of the map here from Basset. Again, like, just that bombing strike and just losing the mortars like that really just took the wind out of his sails. In fact, it just shredded his sails. But he can go for another Panther 4 now. I would strongly recommend that or some Stooks here. Honestly, I would recommend the Stooks, but they should fire out there. But either way, he needs armor. And schnell. As for Basset, like, more infantry would be good, but more T-34s and 6s would also be good. Like, honestly, at this point, just churning out a load of T-34s and 6s might, in fact, be his best strategy. Particularly catch the Pack 40s off guard, which is one, like, liability with the Pack 40s. Well, like, they get outmaneuvered by the T-34s and 6s. They can quickly get cleared out by the T-34s. So, I feel like there's a lot of potential problems here for Basset. I mean, for Eats here versus Basset. Obviously, Basset is still in a tight spot, but he definitely, I think, has some opportunities to win this. He plays his card smartly. And then on the South Machine Gun routed here. I mean, notice, again, Basset is not looking to engage Eats' main force head on. He's looking to, like, outmaneuver him, like, hit, isolate units, and that way whittle down his forces, which I think is a very smart idea there. So I think Basset is definitely taking the right approach here. Meanwhile, Tier 4 for Eats, so he's going for something bigger. Again, normally I just recommend going for more armor, particularly as an opponent can just start churning out a load of T-34s and 6s. There's the real issue that the Tier 4 stuff just isn't cost efficient compared to just a swarm of T-34s. There, Katyusha fire going off here. Eats being pushed back here, as we can see. He's going for a Panther section on the Panther that he is. Yeah, you better off just going for Stooks on than sacrificing the Panther that is firepower than that. Meanwhile, got more T-34s there for Basset. Almost lost the T-34s and 6 though. Rocket strike inbound here. Almost, we actually gets the armored car. That's a bit painful there for Eats. I mean, that armored car done some serious damage here on Basset and his infantry. But yeah, Basset is just still building up an armored force, which could definitely cause Eats some problems. But he's almost got it done. They can build the heavy Panzer Corps. But should have done that then sooner instead of just waiting for so long. Definitely feel like Eats is sort of like the guys who are like, he finally did his thing and now he's just not entirely sure what to do afterwards. No, I have finally achieved my goal. What now? Moscow? Don't think you can reach Moscow. Where to then? I don't know. Panzerjäger is there at ready. No Tier 4, no additional armor. Currently being hammered at the Pan 4, which gained 32. Thumbs up there. Being hit with his forces, according to careful not to bounce them up too quickly because the Katyusha can quickly do some serious damage here to Eats. I mean, that is a really tempting Katyusha target. Plus, they'll also be moving the head too far. There's also a chance they just get bypassed by the T-34s and 6s, at which point, again, they're at a very high risk of just getting murdered in seconds. Still, but they bet need 2 T-34s and 6. We've got 216, 158 here. Still nothing further going on there in each space. No additional armor, infantry, support weapons, anything. Like, he's just flooding resources. Like, he's probably feeling quite confident, but remind yourself, confidence is a slow and insidious killer. He's actually setting up for another heavy bombing run too. That's bold. Explosive and bold. H5 going for it. There you go. Panzerjägers the ram here. Oh, no attack Panzerjägers. This Panzerfaust. The Panzerjägers are still up there around the center here. There you go. Charging with the T-34. There you go. Pack 40s caught off guard here. Looks like he's using the H5 as bait to draw on the Pack 40s. Katyusha the move too far here. Holy shit. He got incredibly lucky with that. That could actually have been cleared out with a single Pack 40 shot there. Pack T-34's caught a bad spot. There you go. Found the Katyusha at point blank range here against the mortar instead. Packs doing heavy damage. Again, you can notice here the contrast with the T-34 76 able to do a lot of damage. And now he's just going for more packs. I feel like Eater's like slightly lost it here. At least lost the plot. Panther 4 abandoned here. Another Pack 40 cancelled for another Panther 4 going for armor. Very good. H5 moving in there. Gonna need to bring up that Pantherfaust. Might be list Pantherfaust to death here. And there you go. First Pantherfaust. Second Pantherfaust. H5. Gone Faust. T-34 from 6 is charging ahead for Basset, hitting the other isolated units, discontinuing with the conscripts. Panther 4 recruited by some grenadiers but barely operable. T-34 is charging the base. Their Panzerjägers out in the open. They're about to get wiped. The T-34 from 6, as you might notice, are quite good at countering them thanks to the machine guns, which are really good. Panther 4 was done here. Pack 40 done. Grenadier squad, machine team actually wiped out here. Grenadier squad that's also wiped out here. Suddenly, Eats is taking immense casualties here. Panther 4 knocked out as well there. It's a complete, slaughter here. You definitely, I think, underestimated just the power of the T-34s and 6s. You might notice, again, they can deal a lot of damage very fast. Some people think it's just over-focusing too much on the penetration of, the armor and just ignoring just how much firepower is in these medium tanks for their cost. Because they have a lot of firepower. And can, for example, quickly out your pack 40s if you're not careful, which is exactly what happened here. And I don't think it helped, with the Panzerjägers in the end. More T-34 and 6 with Basset. That's obviously a very sensible move. That said, he has a lot of tanks to repair, though he does have multiple engineers to repair them with. Meanwhile, Eats needs more armor. Schnell, he needs Stuks, he needs Sturmgeschütze. And some Telemines. He's got a lot of munitions. He might be himself for a heavy bombing run, but honestly, he needs Telemines and a lot of them. Yeah, 4 T-34s and 6s will actually be quite a challenge here for Eats and his current, force composition. Again, they can soak up some damage with crucially deal it out here. You can call it another bombing run, I guess, but the problem is, as you might notice, Basset is expecting it. He's noticing how his opponent's hanging around this. He's keeping all the way at the back of his base, so he can't call in the heavy bombing run. He's seen where they can land, He knows pretty much, this part of the base here is just a no-go zone. Yuri, why does no one sit out there? It's nice and open. German bombers can hit us there, but the Vancouver Convention... no one listens to the Canadians too much anyways and just finds ways around the rules. Oh. Brilliant. Exactly. He needs armor, Schnell. I really feel like each right now is grossly underestimating the power of the T-34s and 6s, which you never should do. You really shouldn't. Change around the country up north, he's trying to. But it does look like here Eats is about to grossly underestimate the power of a lot of T-34s and 6s, which is typically not a mistake you make a lot. Hopefully. There's T-34s rushing ahead here. That's a 4 full tanks. 24 to the England gears there, goes swarming ahead here. The machine there is getting utterly obliterated. Again, you can notice that the health, even light cover, is melting away there. In a matter of seconds, just versus that many T-34s from 6s, just nothing can really stop. He's calling it a heavy bombing run on the center. But I think he should definitely change up the angles so we can more catch the tanks with the advance there. Engineers there, getting slightly caught up. The T-34s from 6 charging the base. The Panther 4 just can't match that many tanks there in terms of pure firepower. He needed Stugs. He's going for another Panther 4. His gun is being obliterated. His Panzerjägers are now retreating back into getting slaughtered here. T-34s from 6s are just mauling everything. There you go. One man left for the Panzerschreck and didn't even get to fire. The T-34s from 6s are just massacring everything. The Panther 4 is down here. The Katyusha fire is finishing off everything else. He's down just one Grenadier squad, a Pioneer squad, and once the Panther arrives, it's going to do nothing as well because the T-34s from 6s have just completely crushed Eats here. Gunnies in the south here, yeah. Panther arriving. I suspect he's already left the match, to be honest. We're just waiting for the game to realise this. There you go. Panther 4 completely knocked out. Bunker out. So yeah, a bit of a wild match here. Heavy bombing runs to just tore out a fat chunk of Bassett's forces, but also just the T-34s and 6 swarms and just Eats, I think, utterly underestimating the power of them. Again, I have to stress this, T-34s and 6s are incredibly efficient medium tanks. If you go for a swarm on them, which is easy, they can absolutely overpower your opponent if they're not careful. In this regard, Eats definitely underestimated them at his own peril. Should have gone for Stugs. faster than it should lay down mines and all the other stuff. They should have prepared, but he just did not take it seriously. He also used the commander rule better, like supply drops, Luftwaffe field-offs, all that. He could have done, I think, much better overall still. Nice to see some heavy bombing runs, but also, I think this match is a really good highlight of just how incredibly powerful the T-3476 is. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. I learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell a friend, tell a family, but don't challenge these. This is Imperial Links and cheers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.